This MFL Marmac Coach Conversation brought to you by Birdnow Chevrolet, Havlicek Trucking, and Meyer Auto Service. Head Coach Dan Anderson joining us as we get you set for week number 1 of the football season. And Coach, I know you've been at it 3 weeks now. What's impressed you the most about the guys in practice to this point?
Work ethic's been great. Zero complaining. And they never do, but we got a good bunch of seniors with good leaders. So, they kind of take charge, and every team's a little bit different. And this year got a lot of returning starters and a lot of good leadership. So, I don't have to yell as much as I usually do, I guess. These guys just kind of know what to do, and the older guys take charge, and that makes it easier as a coach.
And when you have this much experience coming back, what does that allow you to do maybe in a preseason camp that if you had to maybe teach kids to play varsity football, you wouldn't be able to do?
Yeah, we're a lot further ahead than we normally would be. I keep my practice plans from one year to the next. And, even at the end of the first week of camp, we were already to, a point where we were maybe at week 3 of previous years. So we're able to install more. We're able to focus on technique and not so much scheme. And that's always nice. It also gives us an ability to let our younger guys and our guys that might be our number 2s to get more reps, because the older guys already know what they're doing. And so that's been great. Our number 2s and stuff have been getting more reps, I think. And, the older guys have been good teachers. They understand that, when they're gone, these younger guys are going to be carrying the torch. And so, they've been really good teammates, helping the younger guys and the guys that maybe didn't play there last year, get ready so that if they would go down with injury or if they need a break, we've got a quality replacement.
I believe you had a intra-squad scrimmage last Friday night. What'd you take out of that?
We still have things to work on, is what I took from that. We always have things we can improve on, but our number 1s look pretty good. It's having the scrimmage, there's the pros and cons of scrimmaging against yourself, or scrimmaging another team. Obviously, I think the kids probably would prefer to scrimmage another team. You get some real live game action against other people they're not used to banging heads with in practice. But you don't have as much control over the scrimmage and what the other coaches do. I like to do an inter-squad scrimmage. We're playing Cresco this week. And so, of course, we've had our scout team running what we expect to be Cresco's offense and defense for the last 2 weeks. And so they were running that in our scrimmage. Obviously, we can't run it nearly as well as Cresco runs it. But, if we went into a scrimmage against another team that, run a completely different scheme, we wouldn't be getting ready for week 1. And so there are the pros and cons of scrimmaging another team, but we approach it as just another practice. And but we invite the parents and the fans to come check it out. And I saw a lot of things that need improvement yet, but I saw a lot of really good things too.
How much better is this team at the beginning of camp than you were at the end of last season?
Oh, I don't know. I don't think we're better than we were at the end of last season yet. I mean, it takes a while for your offensive linemen to gel. And, we have a lot of returning starters. We've got 8 returning starters on defense, and that was a defense that led the whole state of Iowa in sacks last year. And so defensively, we feel are going to be pretty strong. Offensively, we returned 6 starters. We do have to replace 3 guys on the offensive line. And that's that's always a work in progress. I think you talk to any, coaches that have been around a while, and your offensive line, the cohesiveness, the communication, the talking amongst those guys, it takes a little bit of time for them to get, used to working side by side. And you could intermix linebackers and DBs and running backs and things like that. But really with your offensive line, you need to find those 5 guys or 6 guys, and they got to work together as a unit all the time. And so, I wouldn't say we're better than we were at the end of last season, just for that fact. But when it comes to talent, it's there, and we just got to make sure that we're communicating and making our checks and our automatics on defense and things like that. But I'm very happy with where we're at this point in the season.
Especially with the offensive line. Can you really judge what you have until you face somebody else?
It's hard to do that. I mean, the guys that we've got up front are pretty big, pretty physical. I mean, we've got 3 new guys up there, but they're big physical guys, and they're ready for varsity football. And so, sometimes when you're going against your scout team, and our scout team, I mean, I'm proud of those guys. I mean, they work their butts off in practice, and they know the importance of their role on the team. We really stress the importance of everybody's role on the team. Not everybody's going to be a starter, and some guys will be a 2-way starter, and some guys maybe not won't start, or maybe just special teams. But those scout teams aren't guys on our team really understand the importance of their role, and it's getting everybody ready, and getting the starters ready for game week. And they're doing their best, but we've got some pretty physical guys up front, and so it's kind of hard to judge exactly where you're at until you go against another team. And so with those offensive linemen, we've got I think the right guys in the right spots, but until we go against live action against some horses from Cresco, we're not going to know exactly where we're at.
Obviously, it's very warm this week, probably as warm as you have dealt with as a head coach going into week number 1 from a practice perspective. Are you making any adjustments to make sure you can get ready for game night on Friday night, but at the same time keep the health and wellness and the safety of the guys paramount?
Right. So yeah, safety, is the number one thing. But we need to be ready for Friday night. And of course, everybody's watching the weather and later in the week, and it looks like it's supposed to cool down a bit on Friday, but I wouldn't be too too sure that it's going to be cool temperatures. It's going to still be really hot on Friday afternoon. So we feel like we still need to practice in the afternoons. We're pushing practice back a little bit later, but we're still practicing in the afternoon. We're shortening practices a little bit. We're cutting back on our conditioning. We're giving more water breaks. Twice as much, of the water breaks, and we're smart on how we're approaching it. But the fact is, we're going to have a football game on Friday, and it's still going to be hot. And so we're still practicing in the afternoons and the evenings, and that's the time we play football. So that's the time we practice, and that's the way we, kind of our approach. Yesterday wasn't so bad. We practiced at 5:30 in the afternoon yesterday, going about 6 o'clock today, and hopefully, the guys can tolerate it. We'll keep a close eye on them. And I've already talked to the other coaches to keep a close eye on everybody. And if we, see guys that are struggling, we'll change practice a bit. But Friday's going to come, and that's one of those things we can't control. So we're going to keep practicing in the heat.
And Crestwood, a team coming off their furthest run in school history, getting to the quarterfinals last year. What do you expect out of the cadets?
Well, Coach Denner's done a great job up there at Cresco. I mean, holy cow. I mean, the improvements they've made in their program in just a short amount of time is really a credit to his coaching and his coaching staff. So, they went to the state quarterfinals last year. They went just as far as we did, but they did it in a bigger class. And so, we know we've got a heck of a test. They graduated some good players, but they've got a lot of really good players returning. They've got the Voina, linebacker. He's tough as nails, led their team in tackles last year. Got a couple of linemen, a couple of tackles that we expect will probably going to start for him again. I believe it was number 74 and 66. And, Shelton likely be at quarterback, we expect. But, you don't really know where they're going to be playing guys. But they've got quite a few returning guys from last year's team. And so they've been there too. They're physical, watching them on film. They've got an identity. And if you're a team that wants to be successful, you got to have an identity. And, they are, although their schemes may be a little different than ours, I think they have the similar identity that we have. They want to pound the football at you and play good physical defense. And so I expect a really good game on Friday night.
All right, Dan, here's to the football season getting underway. Stay cool the week in practice. Keep your kids healthy Friday night. We wish you best of luck.
All right. Thanks, Darren.
Dan Anderson, head coach of the MFL Marmac Bulldogs, brought to you by Birdnow, Chevrolet, Havlicek Trucking, and Meyer Auto Service.